So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third annual CFPA Crowd Finance Summit. My name is Dara Albright, and it's my pleasure to welcome everyone here today. We have a very eventful day ahead of us, and I just wanted to kind of kick it off with this infographic because I believe it's really representative of why we've all gathered here today, and that is to fix an unjust financial system that only allows a select group of companies and a tiny percentage of investors the opportunity to capitalize on early innovation. Now, I don't think you need to look much further than Uber's capitalization to see this injustice, and especially when you compare Uber's capitalization to the capitalization of some of the disruptors of yesteryear. You know, what's happening is that companies today are growing faster than ever before. It took Apple and Intel nearly 30 years to become $50 billion companies. Uber accomplished this feat in just 6. Companies like Apple, Intel, Microsoft, they all went public early enough in their life cycle so that the investing public was able to capture their remarkable growth. And sadly, those days are long gone. Instead, today, today's most coveted growth companies are appreciating in the hands of venture capitalists and PE firms instead of in the retirement accounts of ordinary Americans. Of the $8 billion that Uber has raised so far, 0 has been allocated to unaccredited investors. Think about that, 0. And this really needs to change. And it is up to crowd finance to fix it. It's up to crowd finance to democratize the flow of capital and give more businesses and individuals a fighting chance. And we need organizations like the CFPA to ensure the success of crowd finance. Because if we don't, America will be dealing with a retirement crisis that I promise you will make the 2008 financial meltdown look like the Roaring '20s. Now, I realize I'm preaching to the choir in this room, because many of you here, like me, are unrelenting advocates for crowd finance. You know, but the fact is that this is a young industry, and this is a really young organization. I remember the day that the CFPA actually was conceived, and that was in April of 2012. And I remember after the meeting, we headed out of the conference room, we were headed toward the elevator banks, and I turned and I looked at everyone and I said, wow, I said, this must have been what the founding fathers felt like 230-something years ago. And it was really the sense that wow, we're doing something special here. We're making history. We were making history then, and we're continuing to make history now. Since that day in April 2012, the industry, as well as the CFPA, has overcome many challenges. Many of the early regulatory hurdles have been put behind us. You know, we've seen the implementation of Title IV this past June. We finally, after years and years, have the final rules out for Title III. And really, thanks to many of us in this room here today, both Wall Street as well as Main Street are really starting to gain a real understanding of the significance of crowd finance. It's a slow process, it's going to take time, but it's starting. And people are starting to understand how crowd finance fits in the overall path of capital formation, how it's going to impact retail investing, how it's going to impact small businesses, and how it's ultimately going to impact economic growth. We've come a really long way, and it is so exciting, for me, especially personally, to see how much the CFPA has grown and matured over these last 3 years. It's made significant headway on Capitol Hill. It's creating new educational content, inspiring new businesses. It's built an impressive board, and it continues to attract key influencers, partners, regulators, and new members to the organization. And much of it is due to the dedication and inspiration and leadership of its president, Sam Guzik. He has truly done an incredible job in really when he took over the role of president in this organization this past spring. And it is really why it is my absolute honor to introduce you all to the president of the CFPA, Sam Guzik.